Okay, let's look at this question. It's a typical PSLE open-ended questions. Look at the axis. The vertical axis shows mass of fruits in kilogram, horizontal amount of pesticides in ml, milliliters. So as you can see, as the amount of pesticide increases, both fruit X and fruit Y experience an increase in the amount, the mass of fruit until a certain limit. So what you can do is indicate this part. Okay, so they achieve maximum mass when this amount of pesticide was used. So for example, maybe here is, you can just do a generic amount here. But once you exceed this amount, the mass of fruit decrease. So now they ask you, explain why. Okay, when the farmer used more pesticide, mass of fruit X and Y increase initially. That means explain this portion. Okay, so pesticide, is a kill pest, right? Because the pest attack the fruit. So now if you use a pesticide, the pesticide kill the pest, so allowing the fruit to develop better. So that's the answer for the first section, which I want to uh, give you a snapshot of it, okay, so that you can understand the answer. So you mentioned that the use of more pesticide leads to the death of more pests. Okay, having fewer pests in a farm will reduce the destruction of fruits and plants, so resulting in an increase in the mass of fruit obtained. So I do a screen share of this answer here. Just give me a second because it's quite difficult to use two screen. Okay, hold on. I do a screen share. Okay.
Can't you just like cut off
Yeah,
the
I open two
the
screen. Hold on.
phloem?
Okay. Are you able to see my second screen here, the answer here?
Yeah.
This part, right? Let me scroll up this part. So what I mean is this section, I put a tick here. Are you able to see this part?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is the answer for this section. And I try to see if I can capture a screenshot using this function, because a long time I haven't used Zoom and I'm using two screen. So give me a second to try using this.
Me
There's
too.
a there's a screenshot button, right?
Yes, there is.
Oh, under chat, right? Under chat, there's a screenshot. I remember, yeah. So I put the cursor there. Wait, I cannot go to the second screen. Hold on first. Oh yeah, coming here. Okay, now I capture this screenshot. I capture the A and B for you all. Then you all can download. Can you see that? It's captured there already. You can download the screenshot, right? Okay, so this is the answer for this section. Okay. So part B, if you use more than the optimal amount, they say suggest a reason why the mass of fruit decrease when an even larger amount of pesticides is used. Okay, if you use too much pesticide, it will become toxic to the plants. So they reduce the amount of fruit produced. Okay, so you will reduce the amount of fruit produced as mentioned in this part. Okay, this one. So you get the answer down for the A and B. And then later we talk about question C.
It's
Okay,
a
let's see the
disappearing
next,
pen.
the next question.
The ink will disappear.
Okay, a large amount of fertilizers from a farm flow to a nearby river. So it's important to see the arrow direction. Okay, so this large amount of fertilizer from a farm, this farm, right? Because you know it's like on a slope. So after rain, the fertilizer get washed into the river. So it's flowing from the north to the south. Okay, at some time, plants living deep in the water after point G die. So point G is there, right? Okay, can you see point G is there? So they say plants living deep in the water means submerged aquatic plants. They die. And this graph shows the graph. So they didn't tell you what is X and Y, this part. So you notice there's a pattern. After point G, this one increase. For the X1, after point G, it decrease. So now they ask you by looking at this diagram and analyzing which variable, is it X or Y, shows the amount of bacteria in water. Okay, we must understand the concept. When the plants die, right? Okay, the bacteria should increase. So they will give you the hint. Correct? So can you see this increase? So it's point F. It is Y. So you explain is Y. Then the reason, what's the reason? The reason is because Y is amount of bacteria in water. Then bacteria feeds on the dead plants after point G, and they will grow and reproduce rapidly. Okay. So I would screenshot the answer and show you this part. Okay, here. So your answer should be this part. Okay, I will highlight this part. A. So bacteria, Y is the amount of bacteria. You write down this part. Y is the amount of bacteria. So I do capture the screenshot once more. From here. Capture, send. Okay, now the next question. They ask you, explain which variable Y or X is amount of oxygen. So we understand if the bacteria increase, right, oxygen will decrease due to two reasons. Oxygen is needed for decomposition. When organic material decompose, oxygen is used up. Second reason is because bacteria, they themselves, they are organism. So they need oxygen for respiration. Okay. So this is the second part. X is the amount of oxygen in water. Capture the screenshot on this part. Okay, this part. Okay. X is the amount of oxygen in water. So the large amount of bacteria, after point G, they will use oxygen for decomposition as well as for respiration. Okay, why respiration? Because bacteria are living organism. They need to respire through oxygen. Okay, so I hope that you can understand this part and benefit from my explanation. Okay, let us analyze this question, which is a higher order thinking skill. Okay, this diagram compares how tolerant different aquatic animals are to pollutants. That means they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different organisms, and we measure how tolerant are they to the amount of pollutants. So you can see on the left side, right? Can you see the arrow point to the left? Increasing tolerance. So that means the bloodworm can survive in very polluted water, whereas the stonefly nymph, they cannot survive in polluted water. Because if you see on the right-hand side, right, decreasing tolerance to pollutant. Means that the stonefly nymph is least tolerant to pollution. And these are 4 streams, A, B, C, D, and they see the amount of each of these 6 organisms present in the different stream. So they ask you which stream is most polluted. So in order to see which stream is most polluted, I will look for the highest number of bloodworm. Okay, highest number of bloodworm, can you see is 7? And also I want to see the least number of stonefly nymph. And we found out there are 2 here, 0. Okay, even the crayfish is number second. So both stonefly nymphs and freshwater crayfish are not found in stream D. That means stream D is the most polluted. So there are 2 evidence. Highest number of bloodworm and lowest number of these 2 organisms, stonefly nymph and freshwater crayfish. So the answer is quite straightforward, which I do a screen share over here. Okay, so as you can see, the suggested answer, as mentioned here, is stream D. Okay? It's the most polluted. So we give the reason. Because the freshwater crayfish and the stonefly nymph has the lowest number, and they are not found there. Okay? You can see the freshwater crayfish and stonefly nymph are not found in stream D because they have the lowest tolerance, whereas the bloodworm has the highest number, is found in stream D. Okay, so you can write down this answer or the one which I just mentioned. Okay, so we come back to the question once again. Or this one. Okay. Come back to the question here. Okay. So this one done. So you say in stream D, because we can have the highest number of bloodworm and the lowest number of freshwater crayfish and stonefly nymph. Okay, next. Okay. Next question. Oh, there's only one part. So I have finished this part. So let me do a screen share once more for you to get the answer. And I snapshot the answer for those of you who are following this online. Stream D. Okay, then after this, we'll take a short break for 7 to 10 minutes. Maybe I give a 7 minutes break. Okay. And this is One Academy, SEAL Learning. And we will pause the recording.